In this lesson, we're going to talk about firewall logs. Now, in this lesson, I want to go ahead and show you two examples of firewall logs. The first one is going to be a standard firewall log, and the second one is going to be a web application firewall log. Let's take a look at these and see if we can figure out what kind of malicious activity might be occurring inside of these firewall snippets. Now, the first one we have is going to be our basic firewall, and this was operating as a layer 4 firewall, so we're going to get some really basic information here, including the date, the time, the source IP address, the destination IP address, the source port, the destination port, the protocol being used, and the action. In this case, I'm only showing you the blocked actions, so we can look through this very quickly inside of these 10 or 15 lines and figure out exactly what is happening and what was being blocked by this firewall. Now, as we look at this, we can see that all of the sources are the same. They're all coming from 185.76.9.23, and they're all going to our internal server located at 192.168.1.105. Now, we see that every single one of these was blocked. As we look at the source port, we're seeing it as a random high number port, like 54,321, 54,322, and it keeps incrementing up one each time. Thinking back to the way networks work, you should recognize that these high number ports are what are being chosen by the operating system when they're making an outbound connection to a remote server. So this makes sense. The source of 185.76.9.23 is opening a port at 54321, and then it's going outward to the destination IP of 192.168.1.105, and the first port it tries is port 22. That was blocked. So then they tried port 80. That was blocked. Then they tried port 443, and that was blocked. Then they tried port 8080, and that was blocked. And they keep trying different ports, and each one is being blocked. So what does this look like to you? Well, to me, this looks like a port scan. And our firewall is appropriately identifying that and blocking it because all these ports are ones that are close to the outside world on this particular network. Because we don't want anybody going in and remotely accessing our servers using port 22 or trying to reach into our server over a web port like port 80 or port 443 because this is not a web server. So in this case, this server located at 192.168.1.105 is not running any of these services or any of these ports, so therefore it is being blocked by the firewall to protect that server from any external connections outside of our network. Let's go ahead and look at our second firewall log. Now this log snippet is coming from a web application firewall that's going to be operating using deep packet inspection to look at the contents of what's being asked. Because of that, the format will look a little bit different. Here you can see the time, the source IP, and the destination IP. Now, we don't really care about the port number in this case because we're already operating over a port that we can use this application on. And in this case, we see that this looks like it's a web server. So we have a web server at 192.168.10.50 being connected to by a source IP, which is our remote attacker, at 58.33.123.101. You'll see it's using a get method, and the URI or web address that's being accessed is everything after that slash. So the first one is /index.php $ID = 1. The second one is /index.php $ID equals apostrophe or '1 '1 '. And you can see as we go through all of the different things that are being asked inside this URI column. And the next column you see is the status code. You'll notice there are two different status codes here being returned from our web server. The status code of 200 indicates an OK status, and it means the successful is successful. So in the case of /index.php $ID = 1, the web server returned a response, but the request was blocked by the firewall, and so it intercepted that OK code and didn't send it back to the end user. The second one had a code of 403, which is what we call a forbidden status code. And this indicates that the server understood the request, but it refuses to authorize it. Now that's a good thing here because our web application firewall is going to block that request because we can see 1 = 1 in there, and that means this is an SQL injection. The next one we have is what we see login.php, and we see login.php. The third entry, we have a post command being used, and we're going to login.php. The fourth one is a get command, and we're using search $Q equals apostrophe, and then we see something that says drop table users. And what that's telling us is they're trying to actually drop your SQL table, and this is actually a big issue for us. This is actually a destructive SQL command that is going to delete the table, and luckily it was blocked by our web application firewall. The next one we have is going to be on line 5, and line 5 shows us there's a wait delay going on. Now what does that mean? Well, this is showing a time-based SQL injection where the attacker is trying to cause a delay, indicating a time-based blind SQL injection if the page response is being delayed. And the last one we have where we have page $ID equals 1 and select count star from sys users, is actually trying to gather information about the database by injecting an SQL command into it and counting the entry in the database system tables. Now, do I expect you to know every single one of these lines and what they mean? No. But by looking at it, you should see any of these lines and realize that this is an SQL injection because of the 1 equals 1, because of the ID equals 1, because of the drop tables, or the select count from sys users. Now, on the exam, the most common SQL injection you're going to see is something equals something. But if you see some of these other SQL terms like select or drop, these are things that should also clue you in to an SQL injection going on. Now, as I said, as you go through these firewall logs, you may get ones that look like the first firewall log I showed you, which is a layer 4 firewall that's operating based on ports and protocols. Or you may get a web application firewall, which is going to be operating at layer 7, the application layer, and it's going to look more like the one you see here, where you have commands like SQL commands or injection commands for XML or a file inclusion or something like that. Keep this in mind on exam day as you're going through and analyzing any log snippets they give you from a firewall or a web application firewall.